Hello everyone. In this video, we will learn basic exponents and order of operations. Let's start with definition of exponent. Exponent can be written as a to the exponent n. N is the exponent. A is the base. The exponent will tell me how many times I multiply the base by itself. Another terminology for the exponent is the power. Okay? So I can call a to the exponent n as a power. So in this power, I can have a as the base. Okay? N is the exponent. The exponent will tell me how many times I multiply the base by itself. So in this case, I can write a multiply by itself until I reach the n times. So in teaching this lesson, I may use power or I may use exponent. Okay, so if you hear the word power, it's the same thing as the exponent, because power is more like a general terminology to tell you that power consists of a base and the exponent. Alright, so let's get back to our lesson. I would like everyone to pay attention to the calculator. Again, in this Math 1040, I strongly recommend that everyone using the Casio FX991MS. However, it doesn't matter. You can use any scientific calculator. And hopefully on that scientific calculator, you will have similar key, which I will present to everyone next. Okay. So we are going to pay attention to a few keys on this calculator. Alright, so the figure of the calculator, the image is right here. I would like everyone to try to look at any calculator that you have and find a few keys that I indicated in this slide. Okay, so first of all, the first one I would like everyone to find is the base raised to an exponent of 2, which is the x squared. So every calculator should have that. Okay, every calculator should have the x squared. This shows that you are going to raise something to the exponent 2. And beside that, you should have like a square root. Okay, so square root. Square root is the opposite operation of the square. Another function that you should look at is the one with the hat. So this one right here. So this one is the hat. This hat will tell you that you can raise to the exponent rather than 2. So if you want to put in 3 to the exponent 4, then you have to use this hat. Okay. And I also want to review to everyone that this is a negative sign. Okay. The negative sign on the calculator is totally different from this subtraction function on the calculator. So all the operation usually concentrated on this side of the equation right here. The 4 basic operations in mathematics would be multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. And this subtraction is a function where you can subtract, and it's an operation in mathematics. But this negative sign is the one that representing a negative number. So let's start with our example. So if you want to put in 2 to the exponent 3 on your calculator, then you will find that it's equal to 8. Okay, but if you expanded it according to the definition of exponent, then you will find that if I have 2 to the exponent 3, it means that I can write 3 as the 3 times that I have to multiply this number 2 by. Okay, so In other words, I should say that 2 is the base, 3 is the exponent. The exponent will tell me that I have to multiply 2 by itself 3 times. So you write down 2 multiplied by itself 3 times. It is equal to 8. So you can use a calculator to check on this as well, and make sure that you use the hat key. So if I use calculator, I would key in something like this. I would do 2, I would put that hat, I would put the 3, I press equal sign, it should give me equal to 8. Alright, for this next example, I would like everyone to pay attention to this. This is actually quite important because we are going to have a negative number and we are going to raise that to the exponent 2. So first of all, remember the definition of the exponent. The exponent will tell me how many times I multiply the base by itself. So this number 2, which is the exponent, is only for number 5. It's not for this negative sign in front of it. Right? So remember that. So this 2 is only the exponent for the 5. Therefore, I can only repeat the 5 2 times, but I cannot repeat the negative sign. So in this case, what I have to do is I have to leave that negative 5 and I multiply just 5. So in this case, I should have negative 25. So if you have a calculator as the Casio, and what you do in this case is you are going to put this key in first, okay? So you type that key in, it should give you a negative, and you type in the 5, it should give you a 5, and you can press this X square key, it should give you that. The answer should be negative 25. It shouldn't be positive 25, it should be a negative 25. So when do we have the answer as a positive 25? The positive 25 is when you have the brackets around the negative 5. So see the difference between B and C in this case? I have negative 5. I put all of it in the bracket. I square that. So again, based on the definition of exponent, then the exponent 2 will tell me that I have to multiply the base by itself 2 times. So because of the bracket, this 2 the exponent 2 with a bracket is representing that the whole negative 5 is the base. Okay, so you see for B, only the 5 is the base. Raised to that exponent 2. I have to leave the negative sign out. Okay, so in this case, I have a positive 25 because I multiply negative 5 by itself 2 times. Because you have the bracket around this negative 5, the bracket will tell you that you have to multiply negative 5 by itself 2 times. So you have negative 5 multiply negative 5, it should give you the answer as positive 25. So the same thing on that calculator. So let's go to this calculator. I would like everyone to start graphing your calculator and put in the bracket first. So to find the bracket, it should be right here. Alright, so the bracket should be right there. So you press this key first. So press that, and then press the negative sign, and press the negative sign key right here. So it should have a negative. And then you press the 5. So there's 5. Press this bracket here. So I press this bracket right there. Okay. Then I should have a closing the bracket. You can press the square. So it's the square or x square. Will give you a number 2 as the exponent for this. And press equal sign. It should give you positive 25. So I really want everyone to note the difference between these two. It's actually a very common mistake. But in mathematics, the beauty about mathematics is every single thing that you do or you write, it means something. So if you don't have the bracket, then don't square the negative. If you have the brackets, you have to consider that negative 5 is the entire base. So you multiply negative 5 times negative 5, which give you positive 25. So see the difference? With only the brackets, it makes a huge difference in our solution. Alright, so let's move on to our some order operations involving the absolute value that we learned from previous lesson, and also what is the difference between the um, brackets, the normal brackets that you have here, and you raise that to exponent 2, and the absolute values that actually involving the exponent. Alright, so for example 3a, in this example we did this in previous lesson. So what you need to do is recognizing this. Alright, so let me show everyone. Recognizing this line and this line, they represent absolute values, and this is representing the brackets. Okay, so absolute value is more like an operation that we have to remember. An operation that you actually change a negative number to a positive number, or if it's a positive number, it should stay a positive number, because absolute value represents the magnitude of that number itself. So in this case, what you have to do, example 3a, you take negative 7, you subtract with negative 12, you should have negative 19. And if you notice that you don't have an absolute value sign on your calculator, so you have to remember that with the absolute value, what I have to do is you can drop the negative sign, and you can take away the absolute values and turn it to a positive number. Because in this case, you just want to tell the reader that here is my negative 19 is 19 spaces from the 0. Alright, so the absolute value of this is just representing the length, how far away from the 0 to this number. So it's 19 spaces. So that's basically what the absolute values is all about. Alright, so 3b again, okay, in this example, you see that because of the bracket, I should turn this into a positive 81. Okay, and for this part, negative 9, and I square that. So remember, with absolute value, I have to perform the operations inside the absolute value sign first until I get to a single value. Then I can take away the absolute values and turn that into a positive number. So in this case, inside this absolute values, you have a negative 9 squared. So that's why you see right here, I still have the negative 81 in the bracket. I still have the absolute value sign left over. Alright, okay. So my next step, you see that I change that into a normal bracket and turn this negative into a positive. Okay, because I dropped the absolute value sign, turn that into a normal bracket, then I have a positive 81. So in this case, now you see positive 81, subtract positive 81, negative with positive will turn into a negative, so positive 81 subtract 81 will give me the answer as 0. Okay, so pay attention to this. A huge difference between a normal bracket and as a negative value inside, and then you square that, or you actually have it negative 9 stay right inside the absolute values. So be careful. It looks quite simple in this question, but it's very easy to make an error. Alright, so let's start with the practice, because I will make another video for order operations, and I would like to go over the practice exercise that I asked everyone to work on this page, which is page 18. So I want to take a few minutes to go over the practice. Alright, okay. So and then I probably will stop at number 12. I will go over question 1 to 12 on page 18 of the workbook. and I will leave the rest of the questions and complete them when I do the video for order of operations. Okay, so let's start it with this. Alright, so first of all, number one, I would like you to write the repeated multiplications in exponential form. Alright, so what you do is we have to understand the definition of exponent in this case. So what you do, you see that I have a times a, it means that I can write just one base, and because I write 8 two times, so the exponent for a should be 2. So for the next one, I have 6, and I multiply 6 4 times, so I should write 6 to the exponent 4. Okay? So I really want everyone to work along with what I am doing and using your calculator as well. Or if you want to work on this practice later on, you can always go to this video and check the final solutions. Okay, so 3 to the exponent 5, using the calculator, you should put in 3 that hat, and then the number 5, it should give you 243. Again, 10 to the exponent 7, so you write 10, the hat, and 7, and your calculator should give you the 70 after your number 1. Alright, so let's make sure that we have 70. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so now number 4, negative a squared. So again, don't forget, the brackets is not around the negative sign. So in this case, I will have negative 8 times 8. So I should have negative 64. If I have negative 8 here with the brackets around it, it means I will have negative 8 times negative 8. In this case, it should give me positive 64. And for number 6, there is a negative in the brackets. However, in this case, it will give you the negative answer. So it will be negative 343. Because if I use my definition, I should have it as negative 7 times negative 7 times negative 7 again. Okay, you multiply 3 negative numbers. The negative is the odd, so therefore I should have a negative as the result. Okay, so number 7, absolute value of 3 is a 3. Absolute value of a should turn into positive 4. For number 9, negative positive 7 should give you a negative 7 in this case. Okay, because what I do is absolute values of a positive number is just a positive number. So to be clear, I turn that into a bracket, I write a positive, so you know that you can take this negative, multiply with that positive, it turns into a negative number. Be careful with number 10. Number 10 is I have negative. Okay, now first of all, I am going to turn this into a normal bracket first. Take the absolute value away. Turn that into a positive number 9. Now you have negative, and positive should give you a negative 9 as the answer. Okay, number 11. So again, perform the operation inside the absolute value will give you negative 11 inside here. Then what you do is turn this into a positive normal bracket. So in this case, I should have negative 11. Okay, so for this number, what I should do is I should have negative, and don't forget negative 7, all of it square will give me positive 49. Okay, then I will have negative 49 inside the absolute values, because I am having -7, okay, but the square is only for the 7. So we do step by step. So this and this should give me a -49. Then I write subtract bracket +49. So in this case, I should have -49, subtract 49. My answer should be -98. Alright, okay. So far so good. Okay, I hope everyone is using the calculator and work on this at the same time. So let's do number 13 as well. Okay, for number 13, what I have is, don't forget, this is a bracket. It's a square bracket. It's not the absolute values. Okay, so I will work with -2 square. That turned into a +4. And don't forget the square here is only for the 6, so I should still have -36. And I subtract that with, let's do this in the bracket first. I should have -11. So then I should have it as, using your calculator in this case, I would like everyone to use a calculator, and you can put in negative bracket +4, subtract 36, and subtract bracket -11. Just use your calculator. In this case, you should have the answer as -29. Okay. What I would like everyone to remember is that our calculator doesn't have this bracket. Okay. However, if you use negative bracket 4, close the bracket, subtract 36, subtract bracket -11, close the bracket, then the answer should be -29. So I would like everyone to play around with all of the operations, uh, working with your calculator at the same time. So make sure you do all the steps and then compare with what you have on your calculator. So I will be continue with number 14, and the rest of them after I teach the lesson on order of the operations in my next video. Thank you.